Calgary Today with Joe McFarland on 770 CHQR.
I'm a big fan of finding out the butterfly effect with different people. And Eric Southward and I from Co-op Wine Spirits and Beer joining us for Wine Wednesday. And I love getting back into the history of people and how they came to be who they got to be. And because sometimes you're not going down the path that you thought you would be at 16 or 18. So to get to know you a little better, I want to hear this story is you weren't originally thinking at 16, you know what, I'm going to get into alcohol. This is going to be my thing. Were you? No. Just like a lot of Canadian children, I was going to be in the NHL. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Obviously. Yeah. And those dreams.
How early did that dream die?
Actually, earlier than 16. But I think I had a fairly common story. I went to university because I thought I should. Really didn't know what I was going to take. I came out with a degree I wasn't going to use, but throughout,
which was in
kinesiology and English. I was going to be a high school PE and English teacher, but throughout university, I worked at some really great restaurants in downtown Vancouver to pay the bills and pay tuition, and I was the guy who might cook for my friends in university, or I was the one that if anyone was going to buy wine, it was me, and I just liked to eat and drink, really.
Right.
Yeah.
And somehow you managed to make it into a career. Can you imagine ever going back in time, meeting like 16-year-old you and going, guess where you ended up?
Yeah. You know what? I think I could have believed it. And in some ways, I would have liked to have figured out my path earlier, just to get started on it earlier. There's so much to learn. It's such a great industry to work in. You meet some really great people, a lot of down-to-earth people. I know wine has this kind of label of being very snooty and snobby, but when you're dealing with the people that make it, like they're just farmers, they're living in these small towns, growing grapes, and just praying that the weather works out year to year. They're just really great people.
Sounds familiar, like most of Alberta.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny. It's the people like me who sell the stuff that screw it up for everyone else. So.
Marketers ruin it for everybody. Yeah, I'm kidding.
Absolutely.
But we need marketers. You need them. It's funny, though, that way is that do you get the sense like when you go through the industry that there is that similarity between the wine industry and say the Alberta, the beef and cattle and farm industry, right? Like there's that same sentiment about how they're just down to earth, trying to get the job done day to day.
Yeah. And sadly, and I don't know where it gets lost, but again, I do see that, farmers are raising cattle. It's a very hardworking, it's not a glamorous job. And somehow when we're buying steak or we're at a really nice restaurant and your steak is very expensive and somehow the appreciation for who made your dinner gets lost somewhere. Right. You know what I mean? And you forget to understand that, oh yeah, like this is something unique and special. We take it for granted and oftentimes it's the people making it or serving it that, don't treat you well. And you're like, wait a minute, like you didn't do much here. Like it's the person, 3 stages ago that worked really hard to get this beautiful piece of meat on the plate.
Yeah. The product of a lot of work that you don't really put into perspective that way for sure.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are probably sitting there going, come on, McFarland, get on with it. Let's talk about this week's wine. And you brought in something from the Social Collection. What is the Social Collection?
Yeah, it's a brand that you can only get at Co-op. It's a brand that, it's really nice. I'm just itching for spring and patio season, and I just brought a wine that is just really crushable, inexpensive. The Social Collection is just a range of wines that has very appealing flavors and textures. You won't find wines that are too sour or bitter. You're not going to get wines that taste like dirt or, manure or weird mushrooms or things like that. Like they're very fruity, they're fresh. They're easy to drink. This wine is our new Social Collection white blend from southern France. We get one of our favorite producers from France to make it for us. And it's just itching for the patio to be chilled down. Every day it's $12.99. Sometimes it goes on sale. But it's just very approachable. It's great for entertaining. It's just something you could stock up on and just have ready to go no matter, on a day like this, it would be perfect. It's just like, okay, let's hang on the patio. Great, I've got a bottle of Social Collection ready to go.
Right, and that's kind of the interesting aspect of it. Much like any other alcohol, I think, is that wine has its specialties depending on the season, and we are heading now that I mentioned how Sunday's forecast is looking, but at the same time, patios are opening up. People are thinking about their balconies again. They're thinking about that opportunity to get on the back deck, right? And so what is the key to selecting that perfect wine for, whether it's sitting on the back deck on a Wednesday afternoon or evening, or even for a weekend, where you're sitting around reading a book?
Well, if it's just for you, I think you can get a little selfish, and it's helpful to know what you like and what you don't. And if you can go to a place, and I like to think Co-op is that place where you can get a little help. You can go up to a staff person and they have some knowledge, and you can say, hey, like, I really hate this kind of wine, or I've had this before and I really like it. Can you recommend something similar? You're just increasing your chances of getting something that you like and increasing your chances of avoiding something you hate. And that's number one. We hate spending money on booze and you take it home, and it's not like, that's just a waste, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So, and then secondly, though, if it's for a group, like again, you can mention that to whoever's selling you your bottle of wine or your beer or your spirits, and ask for something crowd pleasing, because you might have very unique tastes, but you want to increase your chances of success with your crowd. And again, you want flavors that are very safe. This wine here tastes like peaches and melon, and it's not too sour. It's not too citrusy. It's not like a harsh lemon. It's just very crushable. We call this a patio pounder, in the industry. And again, even if it's not someone's...
What is it with alliteration?
Yeah, I know.
Everybody's guilty
get lazy.
of it. But
we get so lazy. Talking about
say.
Marketers, yeah. But what I was going to say was, it might not be your guest's favorite wine, but they're not going to hate it either. They'll be able to have a glass and be like, oh yeah, like I can have one or two of those. If you serve something a little more extreme, like really, on a polar opposite of sour, let's say, even if I love tangy things, that might put off half my guests. Like you just want something easygoing, refreshing, nothing too... doesn't stand out one way or another, right?
You want it to be memorable, but you don't want it to be memorable in a bad way.
Absolutely.
Right? And so with the social collection, like you were mentioning, this one is from France. You guys go all over looking for some of the cool aspects. So where does that range from?
You know what? We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. What we've done is we've picked some styles of wine that are the most popular in our market. So if you love Pinot Grigio, we have a social collection, Pinot Grigio. There's a unique region in Italy called the Valpolicella that seems to be really popular in our market. We have a social collection, Valpolicella and Ripasso and Amarone from that region. We've got, Malbec. We've got, Cabernet Sauvignon and Chardonnay. We're just trying to offer really great value, some really approachable flavors. We've got rosé, right? So you've got rosé coming up. You need a really good, inexpensive, appealing rosé for summer that, again, it's not going to break the bank, right? Sometimes you need a wine that's not going to change your life. You just need a couple bottles on the go. Social collection, that's what this is for. It's just for entertaining. It's fun, and it's delicious.
And this one is for dollar sign
$12.99.
$12.99, and it is approachable. I like that word.
Yeah.
Eric Southward from Co-op Wine, Spirits, and Beer here on Wine Wednesday. Thanks.